everybody, Mike McWims, upstairs to the right music. Before we get started today, just a little bit of house cleaning. We are going to be doing a live stream this weekend on Sunday. So I will also send out a YouTube message on the date and time as well. If you have the time to attend and to join us, that would be great. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you like what you're seeing on the channel, take the time to hit the subscribe button. Alright, with those two things out of the way, let's talk about today's subject. Now, Casino Guitars, which is a channel that I really enjoy watching, and two guys, Jonathan and Baxter, I really like a great deal, recently came out with a video stating that they were boycotting Harley Benton guitars, and they listed the reasons of being slave labor, copycat of existing property, and just cheap guitars. And I think both of them have admitted that neither one of them have actually touched or seen a Harley Benton guitar, but I think what set it off is that Harley Benton recently came out with a new guitar that is very similar to a guitar that Taylor has just come out with. Of course, the Harley Benton version being made and manufactured outside the United States for a lot less. So it came to the point where they just said enough is enough, these guys are just the pits and we're going to boycott them. Well, okay, fine and fair enough. Let's address those points. Let's first talk about the slave labor. The supposed slave labor that's occurring in Indonesia, which was where this guitar was made. So let's just stick with there. Now, as you know, I lived in Singapore for half a decade, and I traveled throughout the region, and I went to guitar shops, guitar manufacturing shops, you name it, I went around on this channel. Some of the factories there with their CNC machines are cleaner and more well kept than Gibson was before the takeover, when apparently they didn't even have the decency to put in enough light bulbs so that people could see that the work they were doing inside the Gibson factory. And if you also want to talk about slave labor, I looked it up. The average wage in Nashville, Tennessee is $56,000 a year. That comes out to about $27 an hour wage on average for somebody who works in the area of Nashville, Tennessee. The average Gibson employee makes $45,235, thus having a top salary at $21 an hour. So their wage is below the average, and their hourly wage is below the average as well. But it gets even better because really, in truth, the position of artisan pays $9 an hour. And the average employee there is making about $23,000 to $27,000 a year if you go through and look at the different positions and what they pay. The average cost of a studio apartment in Nashville, Tennessee is about $1,500 a month. Alright, so I really question out there to you who talk about slave, and let's not even talk about the fact that the price increases are not being reflected in the salaries with the employees at Gibson. Now, I'm singling out Gibson because it was Baxter and Jonathan who stated that it was their intellectual property that was being ripped off with guitars like this one behind me, the Double Cut Junior. Okay, fair enough. So let's talk about intellectual property. Now, as far as guitar designs are concerned, Gibson for years has been trying to sue different manufacturers to get back their rights. Well, they never filed for these patents on a lot of these guitar designs in the first place. And so, honestly speaking, there are so many guitar manufacturers out there making a double cut junior design based on the classic Gibson design that I can't even, Maybach, I can think of, quite a few that are making exactly this guitar here at various prices. So they don't really own the intellectual property because they didn't file the patents for a lot of their guitars. So that is out the window, and they've lost a great deal also, most recently one here in Europe, so over patents. So that is a non-starter there in my mind as well. There are certain guitar designs that are popular that people like, and it really comes down to how can you produce them at a certain price point. When you start getting into the Gibson price points for a guitar like this one right here, Double Cut Junior is going to cost you in the $1,000+ range. If you go with any other manufacturer of this guitar, it's going to cost you anywhere from sub $200 that I paid for this one up until the Gibson price. So again, let's not say that there's slave labor involved in making these guitars. The second thing is intellectual property. As I said, a lot of companies make these guitars. A lot of them are manufacturing them at different price points. It just so happens that Harley Benton is producing a fantastic guitar at a fantastic price point. Now, this guitar is probably one of the best bargains I've ever gotten on a guitar in my life. It is just a pleasure to play. It's it's just really a fantastic bargain that you can get out of this Harley Benton. Is it perfect? Dang well close. It really is. Because this is not a really hotly wound pickup, to be frank with you, it really has a great cleanup in it, and also when you want to dig into it, you can do that as well. That's why I said not only if you're into just looking for a P90, single P90, but if you're just looking for a good rock guitar, something that you could gig with, you could record with, something that quite frankly you could take this on tour. If it got stolen, you wouldn't get heartbroken over it as you would if you took its more expensive Gibson equivalent. So at the end of the day, this is really a great bargain. Really well made. I can't find any flaws. I haven't seen any flaws. There are no flaws in this particular one that I got from Toneman. Made in Indonesia. Again, like I've said, not slave labor, but very well crafted by hand. And again, for sub $200, well, after you pay the shipping, about $230, you really can't go wrong with this guitar, and I highly recommend it to you as a buy. I think for male and female players all the way around, this is a great buy. That's another thing about it I like to mention, is that weight of it really does help all the way around, just for everybody to enjoy this. Alright, well, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. If you like what you saw today, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed with us yet, please take the time to subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And leave a comment down in the comment section. I'd like to hear what you think about today's show. And until the next one, you guys take care. Bye-bye.